Hello, Eagles Nation. Vincent Focht here, and the second preseason game is now officially in the books for the Birds, as we're going to cover it coming up on no better place than on Eagles Chats. But before we do so, make sure you like and subscribe to the Eagles Chat YouTube channel, as well as following us on Instagram at Chat Eagles, where you can find daily updates on your Birds. You can also find their Instagram in the description of this Eagles Chat video. But now, let's dive right into it. We're going to first start off with the quarterback situation with the Birds. Yes, we'll get into the rest of the offense and the defense, but I really want to hone in on this because, we saw a little bit from Andy Dalton at the beginning of the game, and then we saw Tanner McKee come in around the second quarter, and they kept McKee in pretty much until the end of the game, as we saw a little bit from Cole Payton, but they brought him in with 57 seconds remaining in the game. So I kind of thought we were going to see a little bit more of Cole Payton in yesterday's performance, but Tanner McKee was on such a heater. I think Nick Sirianni straight up just said, hey, let's leave him in. As McKee, he got into a rhythm. He was performing substantially better than the way he did last week. So he's probably, picking up the system a little bit. Sirianni probably saw that and said, hey, let the kid cook, as he did pretty well. But I really want to talk on Andy Dalton because they started him for the second week in a row, and for the second week in a row, Dalton has not looked good whatsoever. Now, Sirianni made a comment post-game and stated that Andy is going in first in practice because he is more experienced and as well has more experience with the system. And folks, in no way am I saying that experience is not a factor. It absolutely is, especially in the NFL. Andy Dalton, he's a former Pro Bowler. This guy, he definitely has been around the bend a couple of times. That I can definitely tell you. But you know what also is a factor? Age. And I just have to say, Andy Dalton, he just doesn't look like he's had it. He cannot get in a rhythm to save his life. And I understand that Dalton is playing with backups. I get that. But a lot of the mistakes that I saw this past game from Dalton were not necessarily the other player's fault. He would step back in the pocket and he would just constantly overthrow his guys. I saw Darius Cooper got overthrown a couple of times. He's not placing the ball right in the breadbasket for his guys, and he's making his receivers have to chase it all over the place. And as well, Andy Dalton, he's just not reading the field that well. There were many times this past game where Dalton, he steps back in the pocket, he starts to get encroached upon by the Patriots defensive line, starts to look for his bailout option, and then looks to the right. Instead, his receiver is there to the left. His bailout man is there. He's just not looking in the right spots, and that caught Dalton constantly yesterday. He was falling in that hole time after time after time, and he's not seeing the field correctly. Once he does get the ball out, it's a miracle that it actually makes it to its destination, let alone, actually makes it to a damn Eagle. So, it just wasn't great, and he can't find that rhythm. He can't get the offense rocking and rolling, and that's something where when Tanner McKee came in, the offense all of a sudden just started to change around. McKee, he found the rhythm. He found that execution. He had that factor. He was executing constantly. He was really throwing some darts. We saw McKee was able to laser the ball out of the pocket. There were multiple times where McKee was able to really get rocking and rolling, throwing. He was finding his guys on crossing routes. He was able to get out of tight situations. Now, did the Patriots defense get to McKee a couple of times? Yeah, absolutely. Did McKee make some mistakes? Yeah, he absolutely did. I'm not saying that McKee was 100% perfect, but he looked better, and there was improvement right there. And this is something where you also have to ask that question. I get it. There are some people that will probably answer no to this no matter what I say, as, who would you feel comfortable with having behind Jalen Hurts if he was to get hurt? And I'm sure there's a lot of Eagles fans out there that would say, yeah, none of them. But, honestly, in this situation, I would rather have Tanner McKee in the QB2 spot. I think this is the simple question that you have to ask. If, God forbid, something happens to Jalen Hurts, who would you like to have in that second slot? And, yeah, for me, I wouldn't want to see Dalton back there. I'd want to see Tanner McKee. I feel like he's the guy that would be able to keep the offense at a rhythm. God forbid, if Hurts, gets hurt at a big-time tight portion of a game, I would like to see McKee come in because I think he's a guy that can really, feed the ball down the field to his receivers and keep the offense in a good motion and keep the offense, hot. As if you were to have Dalton out there, I just don't think he really has that execution factor to be able to get the offense out of a little glitch if being their starting QB was to get injured. So, yeah, I don't know, but, hey, Nick Sirianni, he came out and he stated in the post-game press conference that he was confident in both guys. So, hey, it is what it is. If you feel confident, you feel confident, but at the same time, I don't think there's going to be a head coach that, maybe some head coaches, but I don't think Sirianni's really going to go up to the podium and be like, yeah, he sucks. Yeah, he's trash. He's absolutely trash. I think some people expect for a head coach to say that. don't really think you're going to get that out of Nick Sirianni. Just saying. So, hey, it is what it is. But, yeah, now let's move on to the rest of the offense. And, folks, yeah, we definitely have some things to talk about. That I can definitely tell you. This offense was performing at a very, very high level. Well, I should say a higher level than what they were performing at last week. And, with Sean Mannion, things were definitely looking better. I mean, the Eagles totaled 301 yards against the Pats this past game. Meanwhile, against the Ravens last week, well, it was only 159 total yards. So there was already a massive improvement. And, this time, what was the big talking point? Well, at least for Sean Mannion coming into the game. Well, he was, instead of calling it on the sideline, well, this time he was calling it from up in the booth. Because, Mannion, he's a new coordinator. He wants to get the feel. And, hey, he tried calling it on the sideline, as now he's moved up to the booth. And I don't know, we'll swap to see how things are after the preseason, which one he rather prefers. Because the Eagles, these past bunch of offensive coordinators, they've all been on the field with Shane Steichen, Brian Johnson, Kevin Patullo, Kellen Moore. They've all been positioned on the sideline. Meanwhile, you go back to Frank Wright, right? He was up, didn't mean to do right twice, right? He was up in the booth, and that was the way he liked it. So it all goes on his personal judgment, and as well, this is the first time he's ever been an offensive coordinator, so still feeling things out. But, I mean, hey, definitely, I think he was proud of the way his guys played, especially a huge step up from whatever the hell we saw last week. So that is definitely a great thing to say. But now, let's start getting into some of the big-time standouts, as we're going to cover our Eagles Chat top 3 players for the offense anyway. And really, you already know, right off the bat, yeah, I got to go to a guy that was just absolutely on another level, on a completely different planet. He got to Mars before NASA even got there, as Carson Steele. Holy, I mean, you got to be kidding me. This guy was performing out of his mind. I mean, the 2 hurdles is obviously what everyone's talking about. If I didn't have Carson Steele up on this board, I shouldn't even be doing sports talk. Just screw it. I should be on the street at this point, because the guy had 2 hurdles. The first hurdle, well, he was able to make it into a heck of a lot more of a bigger gain than what it probably would have been. And then the second hurdle that he did, well, he turned it into a 20-yard touchdown. It was like a regular crossing route, if I remember correctly. And man, Steele was able to turn right upfield. I think he made the hurdle. I think it was at either the 3 or 4 yard line. It may have been the 3 yard line, but man, just his versatility, the way he was able to move his hips, the way he's able to change direction, how slippery he is. Folks, I wouldn't be surprised if you see Steele in the regular season at some point. I mean, whether it's on special teams or whether it's something where, say, the Eagles are up quite a few in a game and you see Steele come in, or, God forbid, a little injury happens and you see Steele come in. I mean, this guy, he was definitely, he was all over the place. He had over 100 yards with receiving and as well with rushing. As for his receiving, he had 6 receptions for 84 yards, obviously the 1 touchdown. And for his run carries, 12 carries, 33 yards. So, he was showing what he was all about in every category possible on offense. And, hey, maybe they should put him at quarterback. If you guys aren't feeling comfortable with who the Eagles have in backup, what the heck? This guy can clearly do everything. Put him there. Who knows? I'd be fine with it just to see what he could do. But, still, one heck of a performance. He's really trying to show some, I should say, separation from the other guys. And, yeah, you already know. Have to definitely put him up here. One heck of a player to definitely talk about. And, hey, you want to talk about executing? There's one of your big-time prime examples on how to execute in football. That I can definitely tell you. But now, our next player spotlight on the offense is, yes, another guy that I definitely would not be able to forget about, Will Shipley. One hell of a game. 11 carries, 56 yards. He also had a touchdown. And, hey, Shipley was all over the place. They utilized Tank Bigsby a lot last week, and now they're using Shipley. And I have to say, this guy's a stud. Matter of fact, Tank Bigsby's a stud, Saquon's a stud, Shipley's a stud. These are all facts that we know, but it just shows how deep the Eagles running back room really goes. For God forbid, hey, Saquon, little injury happens. Hopefully it's only a little injury if he was to get one, but hey, I'd be absolutely comfortable with Bigsby or Shipley coming in. Shipley, just showing how much you can really count on him. Being able to turn small runs into a lot larger runs. Utilize the stiff arm many times yesterday. And this kid was just, he was really all over the place. And he shows, hey, why he's a guy, again, that you can rely on. Last year with Shipley, We didn't see as much out of him as a lot of people wanted to see because, again, he was dealing with injuries, and that was last year was a big year for Tank Bigsby to really step up and get in the mix. As you know, Shipley, that the injuries were just very, very unfortunate to see, but still, I mean, one heck of a performance. He's reliable, and that's the biggest thing that guys are trying to prove in the preseason. And I got to say, Will Shipley, he proved it on many different levels. And of course, when talking on Shipley, I cannot forget about the offensive line, because this offensive line was a huge reason why the Eagles actually almost ended up winning yesterday's game. I mean, Lampkin out there, the right guard, Jake Majors opened up many different gaps and really helped up Will Shipley multiple different times throughout yesterday's performance. Drew Kendall, Markel Bell. I mean, these are all big-time names that were really making the gaps for this run game and really allowing it to flourish. I mean, these guys were throwing the Patriots defensive line around like ragdolls at certain points. Markel Bell is out there just like handling guys like with one arm at times. I mean, he's getting double teamed. He's still handling them. I mean, Bell made some mistakes yesterday, which again is expected. A lot of the guys did, but I mean, still, they did a heck of a lot better with being able to pick up their blocks. There were a lot less miscues on the Eagles' offensive line this week than when there were last week. I mean, last week it was just, constant. One after the other, guys were not picking up the right block, or there were many times where there was a Baltimore defender last week coming through with no one blocking. I mean, there were just so many miscues last week, and they really cleaned a lot of that up. Definitely great to see. That I can definitely tell you. And, I mean, hey, got to shout out the offensive line. One heck of an improvement from what we saw last week. That I can definitely tell you. And for the final player on the offensive Eagles Chat player spotlight is Darius Cooper. He had some good plays as well. 3 receptions for 48 yards, but really being able to show what he is all about, getting open, being able to be a target out there for whatever quarterback is back at the helm. I mean, this is something where, great to see from him. He made a couple of good plays, and as well, he turned some of those receptions that he got into larger gains than what they probably would have been in general. So, I mean, still great to see out of Darius Cooper. He's really fighting for a starting spot, as this is a guy that we saw a lot out of last preseason, but really trying to punch his ticket and show this Eagles front office and this Eagles coaching staff that, hey, you didn't make a mistake on picking me up to the front office and to the coaching staff. Well, hey, I'm a reliable guy. And, hey, Cooper, he's shown that he can do some things that, let's just say, some of the other receivers can't do. So, hey, one heck of a performance. Great to see from him. There were still some penalty issues yesterday for the Eagles, but, I mean, overall, they cleaned up a lot of it, like I mentioned. There was good communication. Nick Sirianni came out post-game and stated that, again, he felt like there were not any situations where he felt like he had to run and say, call timeout, because the play clock was running down. Again, that was a large issue last season with the Eagles waiting to the last second to get plays in and snap the ball off. This is the second week in a row in preseason that Sirianni has felt good about that type of communication and felt good about getting the plays off and getting them in at a timely manner. So, hey, great to see right there, and hopefully it continues. Again, folks, can't believe it. Only one more preseason game remaining until, yes, the real deal begins with in South Philadelphia. So look at that. Look at that. I can't even speak English. I'm so excited. But now we move into the defense. And folks, it was an up and down game for the defense. And, they were put in some tight scenarios yesterday, but still there were some guys that we definitely have to highlight. And one of them being, yes, Ty Robinson. Second week in a row where he's performed incredible. He got 2 sacks yesterday. He has 3 sacks on the preseason. But, I mean, Robinson, seriously, one heck of a performance. And, I mean, he's been talked positive by a lot of his guys, and especially Vic Fangio this week. He came out with a quote and stated that, yeah, he came to life. He's been on life support since he came here, Vic Fangio stated. So, Ty Robinson was asked about that post-game, and he said, he took it as a compliment. So great to see from Robinson. And Sirianni also came out post-game and stated, quote, he's doing a good job of defeating blocks and doing a good job in the run game. So, yeah, he's doing a great job with stopping the run. There were many different times yesterday where he was able to really read the play. And, I mean, hey, really improving as a guy. And this is something where he also stated that he was really trying to find himself, especially last year. And I got to tell you, Robinson, he's doing one heck of a job with finding himself. That I can say. He's making great plays. He's turning a lot of guys' heads. And, I mean, I think he's really starting to build a future for himself in the NFL. If not with the Eagles, maybe with someone else. But the hope is obviously to develop himself for the Eagles, as you want to have this core for the defensive line really stacked in case, God forbid, something happens like last year, Jalen Carter deciding to get a stupid suspension and not controlling his temper. Anything can happen. And so it would not hurt to have him back there as a stud. And man, oh man, so far he's definitely proving himself at a high level. That I can definitely tell you. But now we have to, of course, mention another guy that has had his second good week in a row, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. I mean, this guy, he's just tearing apart offenses at this point. I mean, he really is. I mean, yesterday he was doing incredible in the blitz, and everyone knows that one play where Trotter ran up the middle and absolutely destroyed DeVito, not giving him any room whatsoever. And this is something where he had incredible timing on the snap count. You could see Jeremiah Trotter Jr. walking up to the line and then just basically overseeing everything the Patriots were doing, saw the gap there, and yeah, nobody blocked him. He walked right through and just ran DeVito over. So, I mean, it works better if nobody's blocking you. But, I mean, still, Trotter... he really is developing into a great player, and he's showing, and this is something I mentioned in last week's Eagles chat, that he's basically saying that, hey, he's trying to put forward the message that I shouldn't even be out here with these guys. I should be a starter. And we know he was utilized a lot on special teams last season. And I mean, this is still a guy where, if something happens, you would definitely want him there. And I think he's proving more and more every single game that he deserves a starting spot. He deserves to be on the 53-man roster. And he's going to be a huge force. And again, something that I've been saying this whole Eagles chat, I know I sound like a broken record, but it's the most important word in preseason. Proving that you are, the word, reliable. And that's what exactly Jeremiah Trotter is doing. He's doing it at a great level, and he's showing that, hey, I'm here, and I'm here to stay. And he's, again, if something happens where his future is not indefinite with the Eagles, well, this is something where he can prove himself for the rest of the NFL. He really is. He's the player that he's developed into, especially these past 2 years with the Birds. It's been a pleasure to watch. And, I mean, hey, yesterday, oh, man, I can't wait to see his future with the Birds. That would definitely be something great, I can tell you for sure. But, yeah, you already know. We mentioned him last week. We got to mention him again. The first-timers for the Birds, yes, or Bernard, Joshua Weeru. I mean, Weeru picked up his first sack in a regular football game, right? Great to see from Weeru. This is a guy that's really, I mean, again, he's proving himself. He's showing what he's all about. And, I mean, man, oh, man, it's just so great to see. These guys who have never played an organized game of football, they've only played their second organized game, period. And yet they're already racking up stats. Weeru, first sack, or Bernard picked up his first tackle. I mean, it's just so great to see. It warms my heart, honestly, because you're seeing guys that are being brought over to play a foreign sport for a foreign city, not knowing anything, learning everything in around a couple of weeks, being told this is what you're supposed to do, this is the position you're supposed to play. I mean, Jeremiah Trotter talked about it on an interview, how he was when he came over. He had no idea what he was going to do. He didn't know what position he was going to play. He didn't even know the names of some of the majority of the positions. But it's just so cool to see how this all works, and really to see these guys performing at this level in only their second game. That's what blows my mind. Their second game. I mean, hey, it really is great to see. And the funny thing about it was, or Bernard especially, he was getting double teamed by the Patriots all night. I don't know if any of you guys recognize that, but he was getting double teamed the whole entire night. And his ability to really hold some of these guys off. I mean, I'm sitting there just laughing. I'm looking at the replay. I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. And this guy, he's up there like, just like holding them off, planting his feet extremely well. I mean, he's got balance, and he's stable. That I can tell you. And he's just holding these guys back like it's nothing. I mean, I'm dying when watching this, but I'm like, this freaking fire hydrant out there. Like, it's just watching this. I'm losing it. I love it. I really do. I can't wait to see what these guys' futures are, what the team is. I wouldn't be surprised a couple seasons in the future, or maybe closer in the future than you expect, seeing these guys out in a regular season game. I'm just saying, it's something that's very much possible that these guys could be playing before you know it. And man, oh man, so big. Can't wait. I'll get my popcorn and my favorite drink and I'll watch them. That I can definitely say. So incredible. Definitely incredible. But that's going to do it for the Eagles chat coverage of preseason game number 2. And yes, folks, can't believe it. We were so excited for it to start. God, we were excited for training camp to start. Now we're already wrapping up the preseason. Yes. Coming this Friday, August 28th, 7 o'clock p.m. I sound like I'm doing a movie trailer. Coming soon, right? But yes, the Eagles take on the Bengals in South Philadelphia. So we'll see exactly what comes out of that. This is a lot of these guys' last chance to show what they're all about before some of the big-time cuts really start happening. So a lot of guys' careers are on the line. Preseason game number 3 is usually entertaining and very much entertaining because of that reason. We'll see what some of these guys have to offer and see how some of these guys are going to really try to push their ticket to say, hey, we deserve to be on that final roster area. So we'll see exactly what happens. But that's going to do it for the preseason game number 2 coverage. And we'll see you next week for some more coverage of preseason game number 3 for the final one. Can't believe it, folks. Regular season? Right around the corner. Not complaining whatsoever. And as always, for myself, Vincent Focht, you already know, go Birds. Have a good week. We'll see you next week. Have a good one.